about what we're talking about. And so, we started doing some research together because he taught at Drexel, or still does, teaches at Drexel University, and it's one of the most expensive schools in the country, and I taught at one of the cheapest schools in the country, and we thought, gee, if you and I both are doing these same things, and it's working for such a large demographic of students, surely this can work for almost anyone. I had students at Ivy Tech that were fresh out of high school, 18, and I had some that were 60 that, they lost their job or they couldn't do their jobs in factories anymore, so they were going back for a degree. So if the strategies we were using were working for my population as well as Chris's, where he would look out his window at his office and see, a Ferrari pull up and one of his students get out of it, it's just a very different, diverse population. We thought, surely this is working, so we need to study this more. So we started working together and doing some studies, and we presented at the Lilly Conference of Teaching and Learning a couple of years ago, and we were just really blown away by a lot of the deans that were there said, this is great. Can you bring this to my school? Can you tell my teachers this? Can you come and help? And we thought, why wouldn't we? Going from your wanting to help students maximize their potential, if you can reach educators, think about how many more students you can help. So we said, all right, we just kind of jumped in and we said, well, what do we need to do to be able to do this? We said, yes, we'll do this, plan a date. And in the meantime, I think it was like during a lunch at a conference, we put together a business model and got our website going. And, it was just based on, it organically grew just out of demand.
Okay. Ooh, excellent. So with your journey so far, you seem to move very seamlessly from one task to the next and one job to the next and one industry to the next. How do you approach those times when you're fearful, or how do you teach your students to approach times when they're fearful and to move past that fear?
Okay. So I think that my approach is to say yes and figure it out later. Say yes and figure it out along the way. And, I feel like that is, it sounds maybe like it's not the best advice, but really it has helped me do more and be more than I would have thought that I could. Because, I feel that we don't always have the confidence in ourselves and in our own abilities. And maybe we don't know that exact market or that exact thing, but we know a lot, and we can put, our background knowledge and those resources together to do an amazing job. And so, I think when I am fearful of something, I don't really give myself time to say no. I just say yes, and then I have to figure it out. Because, that time is approaching. If it's more a fearful situation, for example, getting up and talking to a group that, for example, my business, we started just doing educational consulting. We were helping schools and universities. But businesses started contacting us about giving, kind of a speech on communication. I also teach professional communication. So that is something, but I'm not used to teaching people in the business world. I'm not used to teaching CEOs. I'm not used to teaching in that environment. So I think, again, with the whole stress and the mindfulness piece, I think it's important to just remind ourselves when we're feeling fear, that's just our body helping us rise to the challenge. So when you feel your heart is racing, that's your body pumping blood through your veins so that you can, so that you're ready and prepared to attack. And when you're feeling, your breath, you're breathing really quick before your mouth's getting, all of those things. Yeah. It's preparing your body for the challenge that you're about to face. It's a good thing to feel, have those butterflies in your stomach and to feel a little bit fearful. That's your body helping you to be your very best. So just reminding myself of that. And again, just having the confidence that if there's anything that I really want to do, I can do it. I just have to make up my mind to do it. Mm-hmm. So again, say yes and figure it out along the way.
That's fantastic advice. I love that. So as the educator's educator, in a way, what are your favorite books to read, or what are your favorite thought leaders to read, and what inspires you?
I'm inspired actually every day by my students. I am amazed by what my students are doing, and I just love to read their work and to hear their stories and just to see their gratitude for me and for their education. And I just think, how lucky am I to be able to do this every day, to be able to work with these people and help them improve. So my students really are hugely inspirational. My children inspire me. They are just these amazing, I have 3 children. They're these amazing little people that see the world with all its goodness. And it's so wonderful to see their take on things and through their eyes. As far as reading, I don't read a lot for pleasure. I read a lot of I read a lot of studies, whatever I'm focused on teaching that week. Mm-hmm. So I read a lot of educational, books and research studies. My favorite book that is not like that is The Alchemist. Mm-hmm. I love that book, and I have read it several times, and it's something that I always enjoy reading when I'm reading for fun. But really, reading studies is fun for me because I love to learn. I'm a learner, and so anytime that I'm reading something new, I want to know everything there is to know about it. So I like to dig.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful! Yeah, and Paulo Coelho is absolutely an amazing writer, and mm-hmm. All of his books, I love his teaching through metaphor and all kinds of things. It's mm-hmm. it's like choose your own adventure in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great. So in everything that you've done and experienced so far, what would you say has been the best advice you've ever received?
Well, I think that what we were just talking about and the way that I kind of throw myself into things 100% before I know how I'm going to get to the end. I remember when I was in school and I was given an opportunity, and I was away at college. I'm an only child, so being away from my parents was tough. And, still when I had big decisions to make, I would call my parents. And I think even now I still do as an adult. But I remember calling them from my dorm and telling them about this. And I said, well, what should I do? And they said, well, say yes. And I started asking a million questions. Well, what about this and that and the time and where am I going to? And they said, just hang up, go say yes, and call us back and we'll figure it out. And I really think that is what has shaped how I dive into things, that all of these minor details can be figured out along the way. So I think that my advice is that it is go for it. And, if you spend so much time planning everything that you're going to do, it's not going to go that. It's not, this. As adults, we all know this. Even when you have a detailed plan, it is going to take a turn, and things are not always going to go as you would like. So I think you have to get started. And once you invest that time into getting started, you'll figure out each piece along the way. I started a messaging group with my Doctoral Colloquium students. They're my academic writing students. So mm-hmm. they have to, I try to guide them through publishing, like how to write doctoral quality publishable writing. So they're writing literature reviews right now. And I sent them this funny meme that said, how any great work takes place, and you start out thinking, oh, this is an awesome idea. This is so great. I'll have to text this to you. This is so great. This is the best idea ever. And you kind of are going downhill. well, this is maybe okay. Oh, this is going to be harder than I think. And then it's like in the deep death swamp of darkness, and then you're coming back up and you're like, well, it sucks, but at least it's done. And then, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then you're going back up the hill and you're like, this is something that I'm the most proud of. It's really great. And I think that so many times things go through that cycle where you have an awesome idea, but when you're in that deep swamp of darkness, when things are not going as planned, that's when most people just give up. But nothing great is going to be super, super easy. You have to keep pushing and get out of that and know that someday you're going to be back at the top of that hill saying, I'm really proud of this. This is one of the greatest things that I've done in my life.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Sarah, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. If the listeners would like to see more of your work, read your writing, buy your books, where can they go to do that?
I can share the links with you so they can have direct access through the publishing company. That's probably the most inexpensive way to find the book. And I'll share my LinkedIn profile. And if anyone would like to email or contact me and want to know, any of the research or any of the work that I've talked about, I'm happy to share anything with you.
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. And so I will put those links in the show notes so people can click right through and get in touch with you that way.
All right, great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed your time and this interview.
Oh, thank you. As did I. Thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Advance Your Art podcast. If you like this episode, please go into iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button so that every single time I release a new episode, it will go directly to you without even thinking about it. If you're interested in hearing older episodes, please go to advanceyourart.com where you can find the catalog of everything I've done so far, as well as contact information and projects I'm working on. Thank you again, and have a great day.